Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. Before I begin, I want to make it clear that this episode isn't about blaming or shaming anyone. My mother isn't here to tell her side of the story, and I respect that. I'm sharing my journey because I believe healing begins when we have encouraged to tell our truth with compassion. If my story helps just one person feeling alone, then it's worth it. My mother loved me in the way she knew how. There was moments I felt unseen and unheard and unprotected. As I got older, I realized she was carrying burdens of her own. Understanding her pain didn't ease mine, but it helped me find compassion. And as we begin, hi guys, welcome to Rule. I'm your host, Nicole Mack. And Rule stands for resilient, understanding, develop, and empathy. This episode took me a little longer today to gather my thoughts. So I wrote more down. Like I said in the beginning, my mother is no longer here to tell her side of the story. And I want to honor that. I'm sharing my experience and how it shaped my life. I just want to let you know that cancer took her life. It made it hard for me to walk alone. So life was very difficult for me. And as I begin my story of my childhood and my adult life, I just want you to keep in mind that she's not here to tell her own side of the story. There was time when I grew up faster than I should have. I learned responsibility before I learned what it felt like to just be a child. At the same time, I had to endure pain of seeing her in pain. Our home wasn't always peaceful. There were struggles, instability, and the moments life felt emotionally scarred. I cried for years. As a child, you don't understand why adults make the choice they make. You just know how those choices make you feel. I wanted to be loved. I thought having a mother that was precious that she was to love me like she did her male friend. So excuse me. Trying to understand as I got older, I began to realize that hurt people often hurt people. My mother had her own battles, her own pain, and things she carried long before I was born. Drugs and abuse. That doesn't erase what happened. But not knowing, looking back, I feel really sad for her, even though I was a child. I'm longing for love. I wanted to be protected. But understanding someone and excusing her behavior or their behavior are two different things. I have compassion for what she experienced while also being honesty, being honest. I want to be honest. What I experienced. So throughout my trials and tribulations as a child and carrying on the burden of my brothers and sisters, both sides can be true. The weight I carried for many years, I carried anger, I carried disappointment, I carried sadness, and I questioned that maybe it would never be answered now that she's gone. I wonder if I had done something wrong when I was a child. But I was a child struggling to survive for me and my family. I wanted to protect my mother from the abuse that she was going through. I wonder why things happened the way they did. I often think, why didn't I try to save her as a kid? But she chose the man who stole my life with her from, uh, from us, or just say from me. Those questions stayed with me for a long time until my relationship with my mother was completely shattered from moving house to house and seeing eviction notice, and also trying to understand what is going on as a child raising three of her kids as a child. And then I began to have my own child. And so now that makes four of us and me. And I was just always wondering what was going on in my mother mind, and what could she have done to make things better, to help me to become a better person. I started realizing what my mother was going through when I had my child, and the father of my child um, had struggles, and it wasn't what it was supposed to be, what I was looking and longing for. But I was a child with a child now. So a long time, them questions stayed with me. Why my mother couldn't save me until my relationship with my child father was going down the same path. I didn't use drugs. I used anger to survive. Through pain, no one asked, was I okay? So I choose to heal within me and make sure that anyone that come across me knew that I had sadness in me, but I was disappointed throughout a lot of my relationships with my mother, and that telling people, like guys you meet about your mother or your father, um, I advise you not to do that because they use that, and that's what happened. They used that against me, and the pain upon me just kept growing inside of me. I became very, very angry person. So looking nice outside, dressing nice. It wasn't expensive clothes. It could have been a thrift store outfit. But if you know how to put it together, it's a beautiful outfit. So if I continue carrying all that pain, it would have continued controlling my life. So I moved far away. So New York looked so much better in my eyesight and distance from everyone. So I will say New York made me. I needed space, not knowing I was taking my pain with me. I took on other people's pain. If you had a sad story, I was willing to listen and take you on and carrying you with me through my journey, not knowing that I needed to just walk my journey alone as I'm doing now. So healing didn't happen overnight. I really need you to understand that thinking about this now, my cousin Howard, who I want to honor, he left me several times, but protected me when he was around. So jail took him from me. And then when he came home years later, we talked about moving to New York. He talked about coming to New York to live. And then someone took his life. And that also shattered me and gave me more anger and more pain and more revenge in my heart and more regrets what I should have, could have did. I tried to pray, even with the help of Miss Doris. I tried to go to church, tried therapy because I was trying to understand that he had the same responsibility I had as a child, and he didn't fully get a chance to grow into the man that he wanted to be because of his own demons that was carrying him. I cried every night for my cousin when no one knew. I cried for, for him so bad that I wanted him to be with me to help me navigate through some of this pain I was carrying in my life. so no one could see. I was trying to learn to forgive people when I wasn't forgiving myself. Forgiveness is not something happens overnight. Forgiveness isn't saying what happened didn't matter because it did hurt. My life felt like hell and I needed someone to save me. I didn't think God liked me, so I didn't pray too much. So Miss Doris was the one praying for me. And today is her birthday. So happy birthday, Miss Doris. May you have a long, long life ahead of you. And may you always stay blessed. And may your path always be clear. Forgiveness is deciding that your future matters more than your past. I learned that. But as I grew older, I started going to college, and my professor introduced me to being a Buddha in my yoga class, and we prayed, and Miss Doris still carried me to church, and I tried to understand still. What I wanted people to know, if you're listening today, and your relationship with your mother is not what you hope it would be, give her grace. Don't let your past convince you that your future has already been written. Every day you wake up is another opportunity to choose peace. This episode is not to tear down my mother. My mother is, again, no longer here. I thought drugs was going to take her away, but she got clean and cancer came in and destroyed my life. So anyone battling with their mother, losing your mother to cancer, I'm with you and I see you and I understand. Trust me. The hurt and the pain, what cancer do to people or to my mother. People would say that you'll get through it, you'll be okay. That's a lie. You'll never be okay. You'll be okay to be okay, if that makes sense. So that's why resilient and understanding and develop and empathy is rude. I am rude. Like many children, I wanted to be comfort when I was afraid and celebrate with accomplishment. Sometimes I just want to be protected from the hurt and the pain I was enduring. Protection when life became overwhelming. I wanted my mother to be there. Sometimes I received love from her when he wasn't around. Sometimes I received silence when he was around. And sometimes I received things I didn't understand. As a child, you don't always know how to explain what you're feeling. You just know that something doesn't feel safe or stable. You become adapt to the pain. You become independent before you're emotionally ready for life as you know it. You're not alone. If your mother has passed away and there are still things left unsaid, you're not alone. If you love someone, still have pain connected to them, you're not alone. You are allowed to love someone, still acknowledge that they hurt you. You are allowed to grieve the relationship you wish you had. You are allowed to heal. My mother taught me, even though things my mother should have taught me. I wish she had taught me how to be kind to people. I wanted to be the person that have compassion. I wish she had taught me how to important breaking cycles. At the end of her life, she taught me, she taught me love, love. So today I choose to be the person I needed when I was younger. If nobody have told you your story matters, your pain matters, your healing matters, learn to survive instead of simply being angry all the time. Trust God. Learn to pray. Learn to heal within. Looking back now, I realize I spent much of my childhood trying to earn something that children shouldn't never have to earn, the feeling that they aren't enough. That love, the feeling followed me into adulthood. It affected my confidence, my relationship, my choices, and even how I view myself. For years, I asked God, and I questioned that many people with childhood wounds ask, why wasn't I enough? What could I have done differently? Why did things happen the way they did? The truth is, children usually blame themselves for things that were never their responsibility. As an adult, I learned something that changed my life. Children don't create adult problems. Adults carry wounds that sometimes spill over until people they love the most. The real, the, the real, the real relationship I had with my mother. didn't ease my pain, but it helped me stop blaming myself. As I grew older, I began learning more about trauma. I began learning that people often parents from what they experienced themselves. Sometimes they were never shown healthy love. Sometimes they were carrying pain they never talked about. And sometimes they were simply surviving the best way they knew how. Some understanding, they given me compassion, but compassion didn't ease my ability or accountability, as I would say. Both can exist at the same time. I can acknowledge that hurt still. I can acknowledge the hurt while still recognizing humanity of the people who hurt me. For a long time, I carried anger, then sadness, then disappointment. Even I realized I was carrying a weight that my heart was never meant to hold forever. Healing didn't happen overnight. Healing looked like crying when no one was watching. Healing looked like therapy. Healing looked like prayer. Healing looked like setting boundaries. Healing looked like learning that I deserve peace even if I knew never receive an answer I wanted. I will repeat that again. Healing looked like learning that I deserve peace even if I never receive ever answer I wanted. So one hard part of learning I had to learn was that forgiving is not pretending. Sometimes things happen. Forgiveness is choosing to let yesterday's content not control today. Some people hear the word forgive and think it means forgiving. For me, it meant freedom. So I wear a lot of butterflies to remind me that I'm free at last. It meant putting down the burdens I carried for decades. It meant deciding that my future deserved more attention than my past. Today, when I think about my mother, I don't only think about the pain. I also think about a woman who has struggled or of her own. A woman who probably carried wounds I may never fully understand. A woman who, like so many others, may have needed healing herself. I wish things had been different. I wish our story had looked different, but wishing doesn't change yesterday. Healing changes tomorrow. One thing I learned is that we don't get to choose the family we born into, but we do get to choose what we passed on. We can choose kindness. We can choose honesty. We can choose accountability. We can choose to break cycles that have existed for generations. That one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves and the people who come after us. If you listen today and your relationship with your mother is complicated, I see you. If your mother is still living and you're trying to figure out what healing looks like, I see you. If your mother has passed away and there are still conversations you wish you could have had, I see you. Your feelings are valid. Healing doesn't always mean reconciling. So sometimes healing simply means making peace with yourself. I want to learn, I want to leave with you this. Don't allow someone else's brokenness to convince you that you're broken. Don't let your child pain determine your adult worth. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of respect. You are worthy of peace. And even if your beginning was painful, your ending does not have to be. To my mom, I hope you find the peace that was difficult for both of us to find while we were together. I carry both love and trust, truth in my heart. Thank you for giving me life, and thank you for teaching me how important it is to choose healing. Thank you for all listening to Rule Podcast. And before we end, I'd like to say a prayer. Rule only, rule resilient, understanding, determination, and empathy. As we come to the ending of this episode, I want to leave with you this prayer. I pray for your healing. I pray that if you fall, you will find the strength to get back up. I pray that when life gives you onions and tears begin to fall, you will allow yourself to cry, but that you will also find strength to dry your eyes and keep moving forward. I pray that if you have experienced loss, you will find the courage to breathe again and one day at a time. I pray that you will discover comfort, hope, and well being. I pray that you will release what you cannot control and trust God to carry that what feels too heavy for you. I pray that you choose peace and over chaos all the time, love over hate, and hope over fear. And if today's episode reflect a part of your own story, I pray that you know you are not alone. May you continue your journey with courage, resilience, and faith. Until next time, be kind, keep moving forward, never stop believing and healing. Possible is there. Until next time, welcome to Rule. I'm your host, Nicole Mack, and I want to say be kind to yourself. Give yourself grace. And one more thing, Mom, I love you.